Welcome, fellow patriots, to US Supremacy Channel. Today, we're going to discuss the role of the Panama Canal in the consolidation of US as a global hegemonic power. The Panama Canal historically played a crucial role, physically and symbolically, in US imperial building throughout the 20th century. The US project shapes Panama's identity, history, culture, politics, and society, as Panama's mottos "at the service of the world" reflects. US-Colombia relations started in 1846 with the Commerce and Navigation Treaty that gave US free transit of traffic and started the economic and political interference of the US. Then, in 1879, the French architect Ferdinand de Lesseps was given the concession to build the canal. But by 1889, France and its dying empire failed under the weight of extravagance, mismanagement, and poor planning. With the 1903 Panama independence, the Monroe Doctrine reached its peak and acted as a justification of the US control over the American territories. Therefore, Pan-Americanism was consolidated. Now, we're going to watch a short video of the follow-up treaty of 1903, where many argued that the manifest destiny was impelled. Quoting Roosevelt, the Panama Canal was a mandate from civilization.
Since 1903, following the Panama independence, the U.S. established diplomatic relations with Panama through the Hay-Herran Treaty. Since then, the United States has been the focal point of Panama's foreign relations, both politically and economically. The treaty mainly consisted on grants and concessions from Panama to the U.S. that included the right to build, administer, fortify, and defend an interoceanic canal. As a return, the U.S. agreed to Panama's independence and neutrality of the zone. Moreover, Panama needed investment. The Panamanian minister José de Obaldía defended that they had not given the sovereignty of the canal to the U.S., but although the treaty did not establish it, in practical terms they did. The U.S. intentions for the canal were strategic military objectives and economic reasons, although it was also thought as an American technological project. The Panama Canal opened in 1914.
As well as the Suez Canal, are choke points of permanent importance because they are not only influenced by the military technological capabilities. The canal was a geopolitical strategy to make the U.S. the most powerful nation on earth. There are two main reasons. First, the value maritime power, which prevents the war with US and the transfer of navies between the Atlantic and the Pacific. This gave the US military hegemony during the First and Second World War. The Panama Canal helped to create the new superpower in a world divided by war and alliance, and became the great national triumph after the previous French Empire failure. And second, the economic value. Due to its geographic position in favor of the US, granted its neutrality and the political stability of Panama. On one hand, there was the US intrastate trade. The traffic consisted in oil between the coast of the US and goods from the west coast of South America to the east coast of the US. And on the other, there was global trade, which at the beginning was low, because Southeast Asia was not yet considered semi-peripheral, and the Great Depression hit it, reducing the commercial cargo.
The construction of the Panama Canal began in 1904, and it was not long until it faced diseases and poor living conditions, which had already impeded the French canal project decades earlier. Under French management, the causalities added up to 20,000, while during the USA construction there were over 5,000 deaths, mostly of black workers. They had to face the difficulties of expanded malaria and mosquitoes, which the United States solved by discovering the link between them. The Panama Canal is much more complex than national triumph, the failure of the French effort, or the genius of the team of engineers and designers. It is a story that faced dangerous working conditions and a system that structurally segregated American and non-white workers. The society built around the construction of the canal was based on racial segregation, creating a partition between silver and gold workers. West Indians were lower paid in Panama's silver-backed currency, whereas white workers' wages were based on gold-backed currency of the USA. Moreover, so-called gold towns existed and isolated around 10,000 Americans from the silver West Indian towns. Gold workers, also known as zonians for working on the zone, were considered to have colonial attitudes. Besides this, the Jim Crow segregation coming from the USA made its entry into the Canal Zone, establishing and justifying an even more segregated society. On the other hand, unionization and striking from both sides were both adverted and repressed.
Now, all the way to Panama, we're going to get in contact with Sofia Rodriguez, Panamanian activist and expert in US-Panama relations, to give her point of view of the topic. Can you hear us? Thank you for your time. Can you explain us more about the imperialist relations between US-Panama? Do you really think it was a neo-colonial project?
First of all, I would like to remember the words of Octavio Fábrega 50 years after the 1903 treaty was signed. He said that it had been the joke of an enslaving treaty. No Panamanian signed that treaty, no Panamanian seal was affixed to it. The US signed twice this treaty. Panama gave away the monopoly of the treasure of its geographical location in that treaty. This is where the anti-colonial Panama movement stems. Despite the fact that Panama has never been legally considered an American colony, we believe that the conditions of the treaty and its history prove otherwise. The grant of judice and policial control towards the US, the renouncement to establish a unified monetary system, the USA elimination of the Panamanian army, and the invasions when the economic interest was threatened are a few examples of the US structural imperialism in Panama. Our interpretation of the Article 3 of the Hay-Herran Treaty is that, although the Panamanian sovereignty was never legally ceded to the United States, it gave the country the power that it would have as if it were sovereign. Therefore, if the Canal Zone is actually under Panamanian sovereignty, the US had indeed colonized, controlled and exploited 648 square miles of the Republic of Panama for over a century.
Well, thank you, Sofia. Although I guess the law should always prevail, right? So now we have a political analyst with us, Anna Smith, to talk about the nowadays situation. So tell us, Anna, how does this leave the Panama Canal today?
Well, good morning, thank you for having me. The situation goes back to 1999, complying with a treaty signed in 1997 in which the US transferred its power over the Panama Canal to Panama. And nevertheless, the US still retains its military power in the area, ensuring its neutrality. Moreover, in the past decade, China has shown interest in acquiring Central American countries' recognition. For that reason, they have provided with investment, loans, and access to the Chinese market in Central America. The importance of the Panama Canal is being challenged by China's two main initiatives. First of all, building a channel in Nicaragua, and second, a railway linking Colombia's Atlantic coast to the Pacific through the Caribbean Sea. All this is jeopardizing Panama Canal's importance and rivaling US commercial hegemony in the area.
So China is trying to take over, huh? Thank you. So join us next time this week in US Supremacy Channel to see the discussion about US-Vietnam relations. Now, with the weather.